Zohran Mamdani represents something that America has tried to kill for decades. The idea of socialism, the idea of people first politics is something that America has been trying to propagandize against individual citizens for decades.
It's Lil Baby.
Welcome to We Felt That. My name is Ihram.
Gary here, episode 3.
Episode 3. Welcome to, what are we calling it? What are we calling Zohran Mamdani's New York? I saw a couple good candidates. I see a couple good candidates.
Yeah, I've seen some good ones.
I see a couple good candidates out there.
Wait, what are the ones you've heard?
Mamdanistan.
Mamdanistan, I think, is the one I've heard. That's hilarious. It's so fucking funny.
Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York.
He is, bruh. New day. It's a new day.
What did you think? I like a little thoughty went outside because I was like, I like need to be around, like I need to be around energy when I hear the results.
Right.
So I went outside and it was crazy. So like as I'm, we at the spot and like, there's like obviously a lot of people that are there, and as the results came out, and the results came out mad early on Tuesday, right? Like I feel like
within 6 hours, I think, or something.
Yeah, it was like so early, right? And it's crazy. So I think, if you've lived in New York or if you live in New York currently, you kind of knew that obviously like
that was happening.
Was going to win. But despite the certainty that I had going into it, the moment that it was read that Zohran Mamdani is now the mayor of New York, I like breathed a sigh of relief, because despite like all the numbers and the feelings, right? I was like, damn, is this like typical like America to just like pull that little bit of hope that you had in that, right? Like, is that how like fraudulent we believe in the system? Because I breathed a sigh of relief, and you could see like at the spot that we were at, like the celebration around it.
I think a lot of people felt that way.
I think the celebration around it felt real.
Yeah.
Like people felt like real energy around it. And I could tell, like, from bartender down to just people attending, like, people felt that energy, right? Like, I got, like, texts, and
I think it was the first time in a long time that we felt like it was one of us, right? We didn't get that with Eric Adams.
It's crazy. I kind of felt like I was young when Obama got elected, right? Like, we were young, but that's kind of the energy that it almost felt like. Like, I remember my elementary or middle school like social studies teacher like stopping class and making us all watch Obama's inauguration because of how massive it was for obviously historical. Like it was historical, right? Obama, like despite how you feel about his presidency, all of that, Obama was historical,
right?
And this was like the first time I really felt that as like an adult, where I was like, yo, like there's like energy around this.
Yeah.
My initial thoughts, so like a couple of people asked me though, like, oh, like my barber was asking me, my cousin the other day asked me like, yo, like, do you have any concerns about like Zohran winning, whatever? And I found myself thinking, I was like, I don't have the concern that he's not going to try and do everything that he said to try and do, because I believe the authenticity of everything that he said is real. I believe that's why he is where he is, right? Despite all the odds stacked up against him. I think like a lot of people's sentiment around, especially like coming from like immigrant communities, right? I think like a lot of the sentiment around him was that, right? That like you really felt seen by him and his campaign, right?
Right.
Like I know a lot of people have already talked about like how inspiring the campaign was, and I don't want to gloss over it, but I know a lot of people have said it, so I don't want to harp on it. But I do want to draw to one clip where he's like out at JFK or LaGuardia.
The taxi stand clip?
The taxi stand clip, right? And I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, as crazy as it must feel for people like us, it's got to feel so much crazier for like that generation of like cabbie drivers who like there was no thought or belief that when they immigrated to New York that they would ever see something like Zohran Mamdani.
I think the majority of taxi cab drivers voted for him, 99%. I think that was a stat, because if you remember a couple of years ago, he actually marched with them when they were going through the whole situation with the fight with Uber, losing their plaques. You know, the plaques for the taxi drivers on their cars were going for $1 million each, right? In order for you to flip the plaque and be able to drive a New York City taxi, you need that plaque. And then I forgot what happened exactly with the whole Uber and Lyft overtaking the taxi industry. You know, those plaques tanked, and they were fighting for, you know, their rights to be taxi drivers and so on and so forth. And he was out on the streets marching with them.
Bro, people aren't mad enough about that. I like want to say that as somebody who's like, yo, transparently, like my dad had 2 medallions, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, my dad did like other things and had like other businesses.
So
and, like,
you know how much they're worth or how much value they hold.
Bro, like I just think it was like one of the most like scummy things that New York sold to a very specific population as a means of wealth generation that got completely robbed away. Like since we arrived at it, like I want to like provide some like back end on this story, right? Because this is a story that I genuinely care about. And if you like have a cabbie driver in your family, this is definitely something that you've heard. Like Gary said, like these at one point are trading and auctioning for almost like $1 million a piece. Why? Because if you had basically New York said, if you had a taxi cab and if you wanted to operate a taxi cab business, you need to have this medallion.
Right.
So the medallion allowed you to own and operate a taxi business,
But
right?
also keep in mind, they only released X amount of it. There was no more being produced.
So New York controlled the supply of taxi medallions, right? Which is why the value is the value, right? Because again, there's a limited amount of cabs. Cabs make money. Again, if you want to run a cab, which again, most immigrants at that time, like that was their way of like making bread, right? Like
especially in the brown community.
I'm gonna drive a cab. Yeah, right? Like you don't need any like crazy skills. You drive a cab, make good money, right? So what is the next graduation of that? From driving a cab, the goal was to eventually like own a medallion, right? So this way you could keep more of the money that you were working hard from, right? Rather than renting out somebody's medallion. But what you see, obviously, is that Uber and Lyft come in and basically
crush the market.
Somehow through the loophole, they don't need medallions to operate, apparently, right? So then basically owning and operating a taxi in New York became super unprofitable. So those $1 million medallions that cab drivers saved every penny to eventually purchase within the span of their lifetime disappeared. Tanked in value. Like I'm talking like, yo, taxi medallions now, I don't even know what they were going for, but like when people started selling off, they were going for like $200K after they had been worth $1 million, or you might have bought them for 3/4 of $1 million.
Yeah. It's crazy because, you know, with the corporate loopholes coming in, it really destroyed the taxi market in New York City, right? But on the flip side, you could argue it that Lyft and Uber are a little bit more beneficial to the common traveler, right? You get picked up where you need to get picked up and dropped off. You don't have to sit in the middle of the street waving down a cab. So pros and cons.
Again, from a consumer perspective, absolutely, right? But this is where I think that, and I'm excited to see, right? And again, this is where I wanted to bring the point back to like Zohran, right? I think that like when government comes in and provides challenges to people operating business, it has to be fair across the board, right? So for the consumer, Uber and Lyft is incredible. Like nobody is knocking that. That's why Uber and Lyft won, right? Like from a pure market thing. But as a government, you withheld individual people from doing the same thing for safety reasons, all of that, sure, right? But now I guess like it kind of shows you like the corporate influence that just like permeates through New York, because no amount of like litigation, no amount of government stopped Uber and Lyft from operating, right? They did what they wanted to do and they figured out the recourse after the fact, right? And I think that is what is going to be Zohran's biggest challenge, right? And I think this is my larger point. So like when people said, yo, like, do you have concerns with Zohran being whatever, like being in charge now, right? Being the mayor of New York. The only concern I have with Zohran being mayor is that every person across America that doesn't agree with his view of things is now invested in making sure he's unable to accomplish what it is that he needs to accomplish. Like everybody who invested in trying to get Cuomo elected is now sitting here watching New York and is going to make sure that this guy does not succeed. Like for sure. Zohran does not succeed because and accurately so, he represents something much larger that they have not wanted to address for decades. Right? Like Zohran Mamdani represents something that America has tried to kill for decades. The idea of socialism, the idea of people first politics is something that America has been trying to propagandize against individual citizens for decades. Like think about how like when you were in school, how much school was just focused on the negative impacts of communism and socialism. Like you never got like a real lay down of like how capitalism might have its flaws, right? Like I was a political science major, right? Like I took like politics where it's like, yo, they show you both sides of it.
Right.
But throughout your elementary conditioning, through your middle school conditioning,
Communism's bad.
Communism is
Socialism
bad.
Yeah.
Socialism bad. Zohran Mamdani represents everything that America has tried to kill for decades. And now my fear is as he's trying to govern, as he's trying to guide this New York to a better place, you have private citizens, you have government within and outside of New York invested in making sure that he don't accomplish anything, so that in 4 years, that in 1 year, they can say, yo, look what socialism did to the biggest city in the world. Look at what socialism did to the most important city in America. That's what they want to say. And they're all going to all be invested because God forbid that he succeeds. This is, again...
And it's a proven model that it works.
It's a proven model that it works. And you know how many people are going to come across and start primarying everybody?
Because then it hurts people's pockets.
I'm talking everybody. People are going to start primarying all the Obama Democrats. Chuck Schumer, all of them are going to get primaried. If he's at least a little bit successful, everybody's going to get primaried. Yeah. So you got opposition from your party, and now you also have opposition, obviously, from Republicans who definitely don't want to see this shit.
Right.
That is my fear. But I'm excited to have a young, functioning New Yorker as the mayor of New York.
He's one of us. It feels good because now it feels like true representation, right? In the past, it's like, all right, politics, you're representing an idea, but how much of it is representing the people? Now I feel like with him on board, we have a chance at some sort of glimmer of hope in New York City that one of us cares about one of us. It's not just for political gain or for, the optics of what it is to be in office, right? So for me, I am, like you said, I am worried a little bit about the adversity he's going to face, not because of what he stands for, but also it's almost like a double negative, right? Because now it's somebody of color. Right. It's a Muslim. It's a Muslim of color, not just Eric Adams, who is of color. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But now we have a Muslim brown guy leading New York City. Bro, that is literally inviting chaos.
It's everything America has tried to kill for decades.
Yeah. You know who's winning out of all this? Hinge.
Yo.
Hinge is winning.
Yo,
Hinge is winning, bro.
That is you can't buy press that good,
bro. Like free publicity is crazy.
Honestly, but I do want to I know we joking, right? But just the aesthetics of it all, right? Him, his beautiful wife, his family,
his goth wife.
His wife, right? Like all of the optics, him walking out the Doom Machale, right? Like all the optics, him coming out to New York by Ja Rule. Like
I will say though, him eating the thing on the subway, whatever it was I think it was like Spanish food. Nobody does that. That was the one knock on all his promo.
He's really I think just the optics of everything around it screams, he is one of us, right? And I'm excited to just see it, right? I'm excited to have people, and this is, I think, where the real work starts, right? So, the real point to, I guess, listeners should be that now is when we actually need to stay invested in politics. You got one, right? You got one of yours in. So now everybody has to be invested in his success in office and his success inside New York, because that is the only way that we actually beat all of the people that are invested on the other side, right? Is that you stay invested in making sure that he's continuously successful. You're invested in his safety. Like that, I think about that. I'm like, I hope that people are really, I hope New York protects him.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I think the next 3 months is going to be very telling of what trajectory this is going to take.
Again, early promising signs. He posted out his basically a job posting for to join his team, and they got 30,000 signups on the first day or whatever, right? And that gives me hope. I'm like, is this finally people and New Yorkers being you know what, we're not just talking about this, let's fucking do it. The time the time and decades of like generations before us not doing the things that they needed to do got us here, right?
Yeah.
So now I feel like people are like, yo, we need to take action now, right? And the election is just a small piece of that. The next piece is the actual governance of all of this.
Yeah.
Yo, you talked about representation, because I know we feel differently about representation. We were gonna have that conversation a couple of weeks ago, and then we got derailed.
Yeah.
Because damn, what were we talking about? But like, yo, after me and Gary were just talking about like how representation kind of became like a selling point
Yeah.
for like a lot of people, but it wasn't like, I don't know.
Okay.
Like,
So for me, I'll preface this because I don't want it to get spun the wrong way.
Yes.
Representation is great. Everybody should be represented. Obviously, we're a melting pot of different cultures, different people, different backgrounds, and whatnot. But over representation to me is a thing, right? And what I mean by that is, what example can I use so it doesn't sound like I'm dogging on a race? I'm trying to be very PC here.
they go spin this whatever. You should just talk about your own race, because then they can't really hate on it.
So I have a very close friend who I consider a sister who recently got cooked on social media because some stuff some stuff came out, and long story short, I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to end up on that side. But for instance, let's do Black Panther.
Okay.
Canon from the comics, he's a black dude from Africa. He's an African from Africa, and that's great.
Yeah.
That's what the character is. That's what he was written as. That's what he was created as. That is Black Panther. I don't have an incessant need to feel like I need to have an Asian guy in the Black Panther suit because I haven't seen a black or Asian Black Panther yet. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
So along the same line of thinking, the same logic, I don't care to see an Asian Superman. It's not for me, and I get it.
I don't think so. So when you think about representation and people's want for representation, right? I don't think it's that, right? Because like to me, it's to you probably it's never been that. It's not that we want an Asian or a brown Superman. We just want a strong brown character.
100%, and I am with that. For us to get highlighted in a way we've never been highlighted in the past, 100%, I am down for that. Crazy Rich Asians did wonders for us, right? Great. Put us on the map, so to speak, in the movie world. That type of representation we need. Those are essential. But on the flip side, over-representation is a character taking on a mantle of a character that they don't necessarily belong in, so to speak. Like, for instance, 007. 007 can be played by anybody, right? He's a character that has historically been white, but he's a federal agent, a spy, a super spy.
Yeah.
So really, you can plug anybody in. That makes sense. Superman, it's a white dude. He's been white.
What doing in Kansas?
Yeah.
it's a white dude in Kansas.
The guy landed in a cornfield, right?
Who's your Superman?
My Superman? The one everybody hates, Henry Cavill.
Really?
Henry Cavill, I think, hands down, I'm going to cancel myself here. Henry Cavill, hands down, is probably my favorite Superman.
Mine has to be Tom Wellington.
Smallville?
Yeah.
No, he has too much of a baby face. I know it was like him in high school and he kind of grew up throughout the show, but I don't know.
Tom Wellington to me, like when I think about like white dude Superman, right? Like I think about Tom Wellington. Like just all American. Like
no,
like
I think Henry Cavill.
Really?
Yeah.
I could never see it, bro.
What do you mean? He was so good.
No, Henry Cavill was incredible, right? But just like I don't know, like I have to believe that like Superman, like I think about like Superman like as like Captain America.
Okay.
Like just like you know how like Chris Evans just like he's just like, oh, it's Captain America. Like
that is Captain America.
He's just like a perfect good dude, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I think about Superman, right? And like to me, the best definition of that was Tom Wellington. Even though Tom Wellington was doing some sick shit as Superman in Smallville.
I don't know. Smallville, I watched all of it. I was a fan, but it was too... I think I gravitate more towards more realistic versions of superheroes. I like when they have some sort of struggle with them. And on Smallville, I feel like it was because it was on, I think it was WB or Pix 11, whatever it was called.
WB, yeah, Warner Brothers.
I feel like it was too PG. It was like too mom pop. Like his like real life struggles didn't really show up.
I can see that.
I
definitely like the darker, grittier versions of like comics, right? Like whether it's like Batman, right? I think that's why like Dark Knight Rises is such like a turning point in like comic book
Everybody
lore.
hated it. I liked Dark Knight Rising.
I thought it was so
Oh,
dark.
no, I'm sorry.
and good.
Justice League. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, you're talking about Justice League?
Everybody hated it. Everybody hated it.
I can't get behind that.
I was a fan.
I can't get behind that.
What? All right. What was wrong with it in your eyes as a comic fan?
I mean, now, you're talking like if you're asking me that in 2025, I have like a litany of reasons.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Like I have a litany of reasons starting from Ezra Miller's Flash. Like I got like a lot of reasons in hindsight.
Are we talking Ezra Miller's Flash or are we talking Ezra Miller the person?
Both, bro.
Okay, the person I can't get behind. I agree
Both,
with you.
like
But
both, just like the whole. Like I honestly didn't like that casting. Like I know like people didn't have issues with it.
Gal
at the
Gadot
time.
was the worst casting out of that whole
Gal
set.
Gadot is the worst casting ever,
Yeah.
right? Like if my favorite thing to rewatch on TikTok are just Gal Gadot acting highlights.
Oh my god, Kal-El, no,
Kal-El, no.
it's so bad.
Like, no.
It's so bad.
Yo, Gary, what do you think about the death penalty?
I think it's needed.
Okay, tell me more.
There are some things you do in life that. Okay, so let's unwrap this. Being in prison costs American tax dollars. Correct.
Okay.
Right. Housing inmates, that's all coming out of our pockets for the most part, except for private prisons, whatever the case is, that's a different topic. But there are crimes you commit that are so egregious, so disturbing, and so wrong that that's your life right there. I believe that there is no place for you on this planet because you've committed such a heinous crime.
Okay.
There's no rehabilitation. There's no coming back from it. There's no reason to spend more tax dollars housing you for the next 90 years when you can't come back from something like this. I don't believe in rehabilitation for certain crimes.
I think that there's. I do. Okay, so I didn't want to unpack this can of worms, but I do think
That went real dark real fast.
No. I do think that like for me, like so this is like my like death penalty stance, and it's always like changing and evolving as I like grow, right? Like if you
Right,
ask me, if you asked me this like 10 years ago, like I probably say something like similar, right? I think now like I do believe in like rehabilitation at such like a high level. I do think like the bar for death penalty should be so high. My opinion on and like the reason I wanted to bring up the question. So my opinion on the death penalty is that like if it is one of those like very egregious crimes, I think it should be on the table up to the point of the people's affected by it should be able to make that choice. Like if you went and killed my daughter, right? Or if you went and killed my brother, right? And it made me feel better, right? As the government who's like administering this, like that's like a you call. Like I've already I'm saying post conviction. Like we already know you did it. We already know that it was heinous, right? But at the point of like, should we let them live or should we not? Because I'm like, I don't know. Like I can't just get behind like humans making that decision and judging on God when like I'm at some point gonna sit in front of God and ask for forgiveness.
I hear you, but here, let's take a look at it this way. How many times have you seen families, grieving families, months, days, weeks after their family member's been their life's been taken, forgive the person and is like, okay, I forgive you. Now, are you saying we don't give them the death penalty, but they spend life in prison? Like, what's the trade-off here? Okay.
So like that, I think like again, like it's one or the other, right? Like it's if you're gonna give somebody the death penalty, the other option is just life in prison, right? Like
So one. Okay, I understand.
It's like it's both ends of the same extreme,
Right.
But it's just like one shade over, which is a massive shade.
It
right?
is, but at some point, I feel like, and this is strictly my opinion, not yours. What is the benefit of having this person who committed this kind of crime still alive?
I think rehabilitation has to be on the table. I think
is it possible for some crimes?
I think we owe it to each other to try, right? Like I think like humanity owes it to our individual other person to try, right? But again, like if the reason I brought this up is like there was like a case that like it went to trial this year. Like it was about the Idaho 4 murders. This random sicko like killed like 4 college kids, right? Like 4 beautiful college kids that had the rest of their lives ahead of them. And he took a plea basically that like he took a plea saying, yo, I did it. And he immediately was a life sentence. That was the agreement of the plea, that they would not go for the death penalty.
Right.
Now, in this specific case, the reason I wanted to really bring this up is that I didn't know where I stood, because in this specific case, like I said, I believe that if it makes the families feel better, we should just like you should just do it because that dude is not gonna like that dude has no morals. Like that dude has no like I actually don't think that rehab is on the table for him. Like objectively, I just think he's like a cold cows person. But who knows, right? Like I don't know. I'm not God. But in that specific case, there was 4 families, and I want to say like it was like almost like a 50-50 split, where some of the families wanted him to just take the plea, not have to go through like the whole like tumultuous like sentencing and trial process, and the other 2 were kind of pissed that it got taken off the table. Like they didn't say like, yo, like we would want to do it, but they were upset that it was kind of taken off the table and they didn't have the ability to make that choice. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, if I'm the judge sitting on that case, and I have
2 families.
I have 2 families telling me, yo, don't do it. We believe like whatever, like just send him to life.
Right.
And then I have another 2 family that are saying, hey, my kid got killed. This person deserves the death penalty. I was like, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
What do you do? What would you do?
I know what I would do.
What would you do?
For me, it's about closing a chapter, a dark chapter in my life. If God forbid somebody took the life of one of my family members, daughter, mom, dad, cousin, brother, doesn't matter, I would want his life to end.
No. Not what I was asking. You are the judge.
I'm the judge?
You are the judge. You have 2 families. Forget 2 families. You're the judge of this.
50-50 split.
You're the judge of this case, right? Somebody got killed. Their somebody got killed. I'm telling you, yo, I don't believe in it. Give them life, right? But I got a God. I got to ask for. And then they saying, nah, yo, they killed my daughter.
I don't know.
Death penalty.
I think it's a morality question. It comes down to the judge. If the judge has to break that tie, I don't know. I know what I would do morality wise.
What would you do as the judge? Like, how are you fairly assessing that?
I don't have an answer right now, but I can tell you how I would weigh it in my mind. I would see it from the family's perspective. If I took this prisoner's life, gave him the death penalty, I would make half the side happy. The other side, I might make feel guilty because now they were accomplice to murder, which they didn't want to be a part of, right? On the flip side, if I didn't take his life, I would make one side happy and keep this guy alive in prison for the rest of his life. But then the other families, how much would I hurt them by allowing this man to live and having them live every day knowing that the person who took their loved one's life is still out there breathing? In prison though, but still alive and breathing. So it's tough, man.
It's so tough, bro.
Tough.
I kept going over this question over and over again because I was like, I don't know. I really tried to find out. Like, I don't think that there's a morally right answer as the judge, because I don't think each of those families has, like, I don't judge them morally either way.
No,
like,
I mean, everybody has their beliefs. You can't knock anybody.
I can completely, because I don't know, right? Like, I've never been in that situation. God forbid I've ever in that situation, right? Like, I don't know what my fury as a human would want to do, right? I don't know what my mercy as a human would want to do. So I can't ever knock which way you lean. But I was thinking about it from the judge's perspective. I'm like, how do you administer that in the most fair way?
Yeah.
Right? Like, we know that this person did it. We know that this person took somebody's baby. Like, shouldn't that mother or shouldn't that father have the opportunity to feel like their chapter was closed?
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, am I now putting these people in the position of feeling real moral guilt over their belief?
For having participation in taking somebody's life. Where do you lean? I think we lean opposite here.
I think I lean towards life sentence, but not death penalty in that situation, because I think that, again, one person, I'm leaving them unsatisfied, or not, I don't want to use the word satisfied. Like, one person is not getting the result that they wanted and have to come to peace with seeing this person exist and like whatever.
Knowing they're still out there.
But then the other person, I'm directly putting them in a moral standpoint to feel real, like, existential guilt over participation in a murder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it was like let's just play the odds, right?
It's a lesser of two evils.
Yeah, it's like on like a 50-50 bit.
Yeah.
Right? And it really starts off as a 50-50 bit. You have to look at, like, at a .01 thing that you're wrong, or at a .01 thing that this other family that wants the death penalty at some point might say, never mind. I just gotta take it. There's no lesser of two evils here. It's just like it's rocking a hard place. You're just making the best worst choice.
I know where I would lean.
I think I know. Like
I'm pretty clear on this stance because obviously, you know, I do a lot of reading, and you know, part of what I tend to gravitate towards is two very opposite ends of the spectrum. I read a lot of like good news, hope scrolling, the best, and then I also tend to doom scroll a lot of bad news, the worst of the worst. There are some bad things that happen out there that we never hear about. And there are things out there that I feel like as a person, as a spirit, as a human being, you just can't come back from.
I agree. I just like, I don't know. Like maybe I'm like getting softer in my older age, or like I'm getting like a little, like I'm like just, I don't know. I'm like trying to like read more religious texts and like feel closer to God.
Yeah.
And like, I always think about it, and like somebody like this random pastor that I like see on TikTok, kind of like was framing it in this way. He's like, yo, like you should always try and forgive, right? Because at the end of the day, like one day you go in front of God and ask him to forgive you for things that you may not deem as so horrible, right? But like, where do we land? Like I've done some real shitty things, right?
Yeah, and everybody has. Nobody's perfect.
And I'm gonna ask at some point God and those people to forgive me for those things, right? And I hope with full like heaven and hell and full like certainty that like God forgive me, right? But if I'm asking God of that, right, I would hope that other people would have that.
I feel like if you take yourself out of the equation and you look at it from this viewpoint, once that person committed that crime, you asking for the death penalty is not your decision to strike down on this person. It was his or her consequence for their action. So you're not implementing the death penalty. This is just his consequence of doing the evil thing he did. So it's not really in your hands.
It is though, because you still have the choice, right? I think that's why again, getting the death penalty in this country is definitely very difficult, right?
Well, that's the reason why people sit on death row for years.
As it should be, right? It should be very difficult to execute somebody.
Yeah.
But like, think about it. At every point, there's a moral question to every single person involved, because although you're saying that this is a reality and a consequence of the thing that they did, every decision person, from the mayor, governor, whoever gets to like pardon the person, president gets to pardon this person, they each have to make that moral choice to be like, because they are participating.
Yeah.
That's like the real moral like dilemma that you face there, and that's why it's designed the way that it's designed, is because at each point that person has to ask their own morality on how they feel.
Yeah.
Right? You're not taking a 50-50 shot. You're asking each person their moral stance on this.
Yeah.
And then being like, are you gonna, because you could say no, you could stop it. You could stop somebody from getting killed in the street. I know it's not somebody in the street. You could stop somebody's death.
Well, not to kind of cut into my own case here, but there have been cases where people have been put on death row and been exonerated because new evidence came to light,
or after the fact, which is even worse, right?
I know,
like that's where I also like I took that out of the equation, right?
But let's say it's 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, I wanted to put 100% guarantee on it, because if as soon as you put that in, my stance on death penalty becomes very different.
No,
right?
100%. I agree with you. Obviously, you know, the legal system has its faults and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we've seen cases before where people are on death row waiting to get executed, and then new evidence comes to light. I think there was a Netflix special I watched not too long ago where the guy was on death row for, I don't know if it was committing a crime, a murder, whatever it was, but then an episode of Larry David's TV show caught him sitting at Dodger Stadium watching the game with his daughter. And there was no evidence prior to that, but because that TV show came out and his lawyer found the clip, he was exonerated completely.
Again, like this is what I'm saying. Like if we play in probabilities, right? Even on a .001 chance, right? Like you have to think like every person who wrongly did that is going to feel a real moral stain.
Of course.
Right? Being like, yo, like, yes, I made the best decision I had with the information possible, but
you know what's crazy? I guarantee there's a certain percentage of people sitting in prison right now with life sentences that are completely innocent.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true, right? But again, at least those people, like, although the system failed them and although like humanity and society failed them, there's still a small percentage chance that at some point, hopefully new evidence, like, who knows, small percentage chance, right?
Small but possible.
Possible.
It's like hitting the lottery. Chances are you're not going to hit it, but are you probably maybe one day playing it going to hit some sort of lottery? Yeah. There's a probability that you have an opportunity to win.
How do we disco out of this? This got real dark.
It got super
As
dark.
the B block, that was so dark. How do we disco out of this?
That was on another.
I'm just gonna start talking shit. I'm the greatest. We had a hit. We had our first hit as a show. Our Justine clip did good.
Yeah. She reposted.
She reposted. I also again. This is why I love what I do, and I love just like being in New York, right?
Yeah.
Because I can get an immediate temp check on how the streets feel.
Yeah.
Like as soon as something come out, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously it was Halloween last weekend, so I stepped outside, and you could tell as soon as I get I just saw you from a random person that don't know me from a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I could tell you the clip, obviously. You know where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
And anytime you get that, it's a good feeling, right? It's a good
100%.
feeling because it shows you that you added to the discourse, which I think I've reshaped my thoughts on having a viral hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I really think about it because people, I've had to ask myself why I do this and all of that, right? And a lot of it is contributing to the cultural tapestry of my world. Right. And I think anytime that you get a hit like that add to the discourse and that's not just noise, it feels
A lot of it was noise.
A lot of it was noise, right? So being able to say something and obviously Justine and her crew being appreciative of that, but then other people coming out and saying yo, that's how I felt about it too.
Yeah.
Right, because I think being the voice for I think the internet is such a loud place. So being able to amplify people's voices that truly felt that way, because a lot of people heard what we said that weren't familiar with the situation and were like, "Yo," but then other people who had been familiar with the situation were like, "Yo, that's exactly how I was feeling." But was I going to argue with the rest of the internet?
No.
So giving people the
energy
to just be like, "Yo, see."
I've been very good with speaking of energy. I've been very good with not committing energy to losing battles. I'm big on, if you want to have a conversation and we see things very differently, I'm open-minded enough to listen to your point and try to see it from your point of view. But if I don't think you're capable of intellectually coming across with your point with logic and tact, I'm not going to feed my energy into it. And that's why I haven't commented on some stuff that's been happening with my god sister and her social media situation right now. I feel like
I saw. Okay, so that's why because you tweeted this, right?
I did.
And
yeah.
I saw that, and I was wondering what was the situation that made you feel that way. And
It was her. I'm not gonna name drop. Obviously, it's a very tricky situation because I see it from both sides. Yeah, I don't know if I want to comment on. Maybe we'll splice this part out because I feel like,
listen. I'm. Let me give, I guess, my thought, right? And you can kind of skate away from it, right? I think that this is outside of that situation, right?
Yeah.
I think when a situation like that come up, right, people use a very black and white approach to all observations. And again, same thing with the Justine situation, same thing that comes up at any of these situations, right? When it becomes a very black and white situation, you're not giving human grace, I immediately disqualify your thoughts in the thing because, like you said, those people are not real people, right? Because to think that your humanity is so perfect in every single situation, I think it's just a lie, right? Those aren't real people to me.
I feel like a lot of this stuff when it comes to the social media space and content creating is predicated around viewing one clip and not reading the context around it, right? You don't know what happened prior to it. You don't know what happened after. You just know that immediate clip and that is your reality. And the problem with social media now is you have all these larger content creators and influencers commenting on something. And because their fan base is so loyal and so rabid, it becomes like a herd mentality where if my favorite creator is outraged, I have to be outraged. And now you have this whole performative outrage also about it. Not this specific situation, but just in general, I have to be mad because everybody else is mad. And if I'm not in line with everybody else being mad, then I'm in the wrong, right? So I feel like where are your real thoughts, your authentic thoughts? How do you really feel? Not how this person feels and that person feels. How do you really feel about it? And that's what I feel like we've been losing.
But and again, I know this is a situation or a relationship that you care about. If I was you and I had to advise one of my peoples like that, I would literally tell them what people have told me, right? Which is yo, go back to your real life for a bit, touch people. Pause, right? Just be around your peoples, have real energy around you, have real people around you.
Yeah.
and then remember that that's your real reality.
Yeah.
The same way that everybody else's reality got shaped by a 5-second or 10-second view of something. Your reality is much more real than that, and like your everyday, who you're with. And I get it. Like when situations pop up like that, I felt the heat, and like I felt the heat for. We're talking about like Jocelyn and them, right? That's why I'm so. I guess like I want to clarify why I said that clip, right? Because people tried to paint it as like, oh, I'm on one side or I'm on the other, right? I'm always gonna be like the person that is going to promote people being able to speak openly,
100%.
without full vilification, right? Because I think that that's where we lose like the nuance of humanity, right? And every situation, right? Because I know that it probably don't feel good. Like if you're just seeing them, like you probably are like, yo, look, like it don't feel good to people say these things about you and your character that you know not true, right? Yeah. And I'm always gonna defend that side, not because of like it's not even about what it is. Right, like they thought that clip was like, oh, I'm taking a side on just seeing over whoever XYZ creator, right?
It wasn't
like whatever situation, right? Like it's never us taking a like side on it, right? It's just like like give people the grace of human, like give people grace, Give people grace in every single thing. I think like that, like we've looked at, like I saw this like random article where it's like, we became a surveillance state, not by like some government big brother shit, by that too, but we became a surveillance state with all individuals, because everybody around you is looking at you at any given moment to somebody you don't know to see you make a mistake so that they can pay. Like the worst social media shit is like the people that just record any small inconvenience that's going on in the world. Like any small inconvenience. Every time I see somebody on the train beefing and they getting recorded, I'm like, yo, you know how many times that's supposed to happen?
Yeah.
We live in a fucking massive city. There's a bunch of people. There's no space. Of course, people are gonna be tight after coming back from working. Y'all ever work a 9 to 5 and then have to take the 6 train down?
And it's delayed, and then you're crammed in, and there's people fighting over it for space. Yeah.
People are gonna be mad. Don't record them. Let them be mad.
Yeah.
Like, be a real human and step in and be like, yo, maybe y'all shouldn't pop on each other. And here's the thing, 9 out of 10 times, they not popping on each other.
Yeah.
But you get my point,
it's
right? Like,
people policing people now.
Everyone's always policing everybody in this like weird moral high ground that everybody don't deserve.
Yeah, and everybody feels like they are the judge, jury, and executioner for everything. They are the go-to for what's morally right and morally wrong.
Bro, I had so many people tell me like, yo, when I started podding, even this pod, right? Like, yo, Ram's arrogant, like X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, at first it used to really bother me. I should be like, damn, they think I'm arrogant? Like, that's crazy, right? Like, that hurt. That hurt, right? Like, as somebody who, as my first 20 years of life, I tell all my friends this, like, my first 20 years of life was killing my ego. I've been through every struggle, every bullshit situation. I've said every fucked up thing to myself, right? Like, I killed that ego, right? But I'm like, damn, y'all really police that.
Does it still bother you?
What?
When people tell you you're XYZ?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I want to say it doesn't bother me, but obviously, you know, it does affect me here and there when I hear shitty things about me online. And it doesn't happen often because obviously I'm not a huge creator. Like my viewership is like very tiny compared to these larger creators. But I'm trying to get better this year at telling myself that those people don't matter or those comments don't matter.
You know, the internet stuff don't bother me. Where it gets tricky for me is that I create in this like people could touch me, like pause, right? Like I be out at places where it's like like people's like comments and opinions on me. I'm talking about people that aren't necessarily friends, right? Like we just work in the same area,
in the same space. Yeah.
We work in the same creator space, right? So I'm going to the spaces where like the people that I know that don't really fuck with me and have said shitty things, I still gotta see them.
Yeah.
Right? Like and here's where it gets fucked up for me, right? Like, cause you remember how it was in like high school? Like if you knew that somebody was talking shit, you could say something.
Right. You
could be like, yo, I heard, such and such, like the homie told me that you said X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk about it. At 29 years old.
It's not the same.
I can't really pull up on people like that.
No, because at this point,
You look crazy.
how much of your life and career are you risking by pulling up on somebody just because they said a couple of words about you? Is it even worth it?
Yo,
And you just have to let it be.
you know how many rooms I walk into and I'm like, yo, 6 out of the 10 of y'all don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
And I know things that y'all have said to people that fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I look crazy
If you step up and say something.
if I step up and say something here.
I'm very.
Because we're not in high school.
Yeah.
We're 29 years old and running a
'cause then
business.
You would look crazy.
I would look crazy.
Yeah.
Because the next story is not, oh, this person said X, Y, and Z behind Ihram's back, right? The story is Ihram pulled up on X, Y, and Z and got it crazy.
Yeah. It's not worth it. It's not. At the end of the day, that energy spent is not worth it's not worth it for somebody to say a couple of words about you. It's not worth it.
Hey, and if you listening, my God don't play about me. My God don't play about me. That's the most fucked up part. I think because I think that when people don't have that energy, because if I truly had that energy for somebody, like if I didn't really fuck with somebody and the way that they moved around, I like me telling homie that might get it to you is not gonna do me anything. I gotta go straight to you.
I'm not one of those that goes around slandering people I don't agree with or I don't like. I'm very much like, let's say I don't like, whatever, Steve. I'm not going to go around telling all my friends, yo, Steve's a piece of shit. I'm just going to be like, I just don't fuck with him. That's it, period.
And I think that's when, again, it's small people that don't have real power and energy that have to result in that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like the people that really, if people wanted to, that actually had motion, didn't fuck with me, they could probably, people do things, right? Like if people do things, let people do things, right? But it's like just the people that could never touch you, be in a room with you, that have to result to that.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of gives me peace, because it's like, yo, y'all, it's just rocks in my shoes.
Yeah, it's nothing, bro. It's just an annoyance. But at the end of the day, you just have to move around with the understanding that people are pot stirrers. People like drama. Some people thrive off of this shit.
What is the adult equivalent of that? So to tie it with like the Jasleen thing, because Jasleen went up and she's looking at comments and responding to people on her story and being like, yo, and I was like if I do that, I still look crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like what is the adult way to check somebody?
I'm very logical. When I'm arguing with somebody, I don't attack their person. I don't attack their character. I take whatever point they're trying to make and I dismantle it with logic. And I feel like that works for me 9 times out of 10.
No. Okay, so like you see somebody, again, we potting. People might say things, right? People might say things. You see somebody leave a comment somewhere about me, about you, right? About you, somebody right? How do you handle that?
Did I already have issues with that person? Or this is the first time I'm seeing that?
Both. Let's go. You had issues you had issues with this person.
If I had issues with that person and I know this person is an active hater on my life and what I create, I let it go, because there's no back and forth with me with that situation, because I know it's a lose-lose situation. I'm going to feed my energy, waste my time with it, and that person's never going to change their viewpoint. I'll never get across that person. If it's a new person that I have in my life that I've known personally that randomly comes out of nowhere and starts slandering, then I'll call them out. Maybe not like on social media, but I will approach and be like, yo, what is that about? What did I do to offend you, bro? What is it about me that you feel like I'm easy to shit on?
That's what, I'm waiting for one of y'all that I know to say something like publicly, like, because I think that's what bothers me, right? Because I'm like, it's never, if it was public, then I could respond publicly, because it's like, okay, there's evidence.
Yeah.
But I can't really check you based off of the fact that I know something based off of something that somebody else told me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because then it gets like real messy, right?
And people misconstrue things and people over exaggerate. Right, it's like I could say like, I didn't really like Ram's outfit, and then it goes through the third or fourth person. Yo, Gary said you dress like shit. Right? It's like, bro, nobody even said that, but now I can't even defend myself because it's a game of he said, she said. But again, I think it all boils down to the fact that I'm at the age where it's like, if you don't like me, if you don't like what I stand for, you don't like what I'm about, you don't like how I move, that's your prerogative. Cool, not a big deal.
That's my prerogative too.
Yeah.
Unless y'all catch me on the wrong day. That's like the inner Scorpio to me. I'm like, just in case y'all catch me on the wrong day.
I'm big on you got it.
Y'all can't. Hey, listen! Don't do anything funny on a Thursday, because then we record. We record
on Thursday,
and if it's fresh, like if you do something on a Sunday and give me till Thursday, I got time to like sit on it. But Thursday we record. You had something in our notes. You said you brought up
which point?
Long distance dating.
Yeah.
Wait, why? Are you dating somebody?
No, I was talking to a friend about it, and just talking about long distance relationships and how that person's going about dealing with it. Obviously, I did a long distance relationship, and
how far?
Across the country, here to California, right? So long. It wasn't
distance.
like a 2-hour drive. It was like I have to hop on a flight to see this person. At what point do you feel like it's not worth it? Now, keep in mind the millions of people in New York City. We're living in a city where options are endless, and with social media,
you don't love this girl.
No, I'm just saying the options in physical New York City are endless. Now, if you add in social media, it becomes worldwide, right? So you have options. When is it worth it to you to have to fly 8 hours across the country to be with somebody, knowing that there are millions of other options? Now, it comes down to a question of, do you believe in one soulmate? Do you believe in multiple this lifetime? Do you believe in, what is that, the law of 3 real loves in your lifetime, right? I forget what the exact thing is called. But like, at what point do you feel like, yes, this is worth it, all the effort is worth it because we have an end game we're trying to get to? Or no, this is just draining my entire life energy and I can find somebody closer to home?
I think there's only 2 real ways to answer this, right?
Okay.
It's the love of your life. It's the love of your life. Nothing matters. Not how far, not how long.
Fair.
None of that shit matters. If it's the love of your life, anything less than the love of your life, dump that girl and hit the streets of New York tomorrow. Like, bro, because here's the thing. Like, let's have a real honest conversation as somebody who has, like, I have the same issue, so I have no problem saying this, right? A lot of people just date for fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people just date because it's fun. It's fun. Like, it is fun, right? Yeah, I'm not saying everybody who dates is lonely, but it's fun, right? Like, you get to hang out with somebody. Companionship is a human thing, right? Like, dating is fun, right? Like, sex, companionship, friendship, all of that shit is fun.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And this is why people don't have real challenges. As soon as a small hurdle comes into any of those 4 fun relationships, you'll realize exactly what Gary is saying, is that there's a million options.
Yeah.
So it's either the love of your life, in which case anything will work.
Right.
Or it's not.
I think the hopeless romantic in me wants to agree. If it's the love of your life and this is a once in a lifetime person, then you do everything in your power to fight for it and try to make it work, regardless of where they are. But having dated somebody long distance, it's not easy, especially for somebody like me who likes having somebody close by, likes doing activities with them, likes spending time with them. Working on a limited time scale of how much time we could spend together every month really fucking sucks.
I couldn't do it. Like,
I don't think I can.
I dead ass. Like, I could not do it.
I don't think I can.
But that's what I mean about, like, if it's the love of your life. Because if my girl told me tomorrow, like, yo, I got to go to, like, California.
Yeah.
I also agree. I'm somebody who I need my partner around me, right?
Yeah.
Dog, I would just move. Love of my life, bro.
If it's love of my life, I'm
moving.
I'm either moving there or I'm helping that person move here. 100%.
Yeah, one or the other, right?
One or the other.
Yo, my girl was a consultant. Like, that came up all the time. Like, she might take a project that's 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Is like wherever the fuck Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna just fuck off for 6 months? And you figure it out. Cause like, so what did you, like, how did you handle that? Were you visiting or was she coming here?
We did it in long time blocks. So she'll be here for like 2 months and then I'll be there for like a month and then just kind of swapped back and forth. But it just got to the point where you start drifting apart because you're living really 2 different lives. Yeah.
It's tough, bro. Like, I think like, as much as you can, it's easy to feel like you're living 2 different lives when you're just like truly doing a lot of things separately and you live in the same city, right? Like, my girl is a lot less extroverted than I am, right? Like, I'm always outside. Like, I'm like,
yeah, I think that's where you and I are opposites.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm always outside,
I'm inside
right?
24/7.
So there's times where, like, like, obviously just being with a girl like makes you kind of like be more of a homebody because it's nice. My girl's at the crib, like I could just chill. But we had a conversation where she was like, yo, like, listen, like, don't let me being a homebody turn you into a homebody. If you got to be outside for work or like because that's where you thrive, be outside. And sometimes I'm like, yo, even that feels like living separate lives. When I'm out 3 weekends in a row and I'm telling you like, oh, this happened and then this happened and this happened, you're not clocked into that. So it truly feels like you live in 2 separate lives. Now, put that on a long distance level. You telling me about your coworkers in California that I never see and have never met. When the fuck, like, who the fuck is the story even about?
Yeah.
Like, she's telling you about, like, Greg from work did, and you're like, who the fuck is Greg?
Okay, so it's funny you mentioned that.
Why, she had a Greg from work?
No Greg. But how do you approach friendships when it comes to a new girl you're dating? Do you incorporate her into your current friend group? Do you assimilate into her friend group? Or do you kind of try to find a middle ground where you're meshing both?
Is she the love of my life?
Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Yeah,
If she's the love of my life, she can be my friends.
Yeah.
Anything other, it's just a bad idea. Because,
Really?
I'm the type to like just, because I'm like, even if I make a new friend,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the type to like, oh, me and my friends are going out and I have a new friend, I'll just tell the new friend, yo, like just come, right?
Yeah.
So with my, like if I was dating like a new girl, absolutely, right? But it's never a good thing unless it's the love of your life. Why? You immediately integrate?
I have a bad habit of doing that. I have a bad habit of doing that.
Okay, how quickly are you integrating? Because there's levels to this shit.
So once we become official and we go steady, I want to say like 3 months into it, whatever the case is, I'll start introducing you to my friends, taking you out to group outings and stuff like that. Yeah.
3 months is like a.
But I'm also very picky with who I'm with.
How many girls have all of your friends met?
How many?
You're a little bit older than me, but how many of your girlfriends have your friends met?
I think all of them.
Number.
All 3, 4 of them.
Yeah, because at some point as your friend, you're going to start, like, the fourth girl that they're meeting, they're a lot less invested in the first girl that you're meeting.
That's fucking fair. That's fair.
Like,
it's like, yo, bro, what's your name again?
Yo, like my boys, like their first girlfriends, yo, I got to know them because I was like, yo, like you go. Now that we like almost 30 and these motherfuckers have dated like 5 different girls and I met all 5 of them. By the 5th one, I'm like, listen,
but I don't. All right, so with me,
I need to learn your name in like 3 months when I've met you for like another 3.
To be fair, I'm not sure if this helps my point. I don't date casually in the sense that I'm not going to see girl A, girl B, girl C at the same time and try to figure out who works. I think for me, it's like if I'm investing my time in one girl, I'm going to see where it goes. I'm going to let it play out. If it doesn't work, okay, then I'll pursue somebody else and kind of go on a different path. But I'm not going to like juggle 3 different people. And I would never be juggling myself. If you're seeing 3 other guys,
no. Even on
I'm not in that game.
Even on the serious clip, right? It is tough, right? Because you do want to, like, if you're serious about a girl, right? Like, you do want to make sure that like your friends are a good barometer of like, will this girl make it?
Some friends
are a good
everybody has that degenerate friend.
Yes, but some friends are like good, like, because think about it, the things that you seek in your friends are probably also things that you seek in like a partner, right? Like certain things, right?
Well, that's a topic for next week. I feel like everybody needs 3 type of friends, 3 separate types of friends. Yeah, that fill out that friend circle. Everybody needs to have a role, including yourself. Everybody needs to play a part.
Oh, you're talking about inside like a real friend group?
A real friend circle, your ride or dies, your closest homies that you can call brothers.
We'll get into this next week because I think that you can play multiple roles in multiple friend groups.
You can, but personalities are personalities for a reason. They are ingrained in your DNA. You are who you are at the end of the day. Even if you're a little bit more like chameleon-like, but you still
we got to get into this because I'm definitely like a hard disagreeer. All right, yo, thank y'all for listening. This was We Felt That. Catch y'all.
Appreciate you guys.